Okay. Well, Happy New Year, everybody. Hope everyone had a good holiday and whatnot. Haven't kind of touched base with you for a few weeks here, and just want to kind of give you an update on what's been going on and what we're currently doing. These guys, player wise, got obviously some time away through the break here. School did start this week, still mostly online and virtual. Guys are some are in town, some are trickling back next week. We are planning our kind of off-season training regiment to be getting started the 19th of January. Give us a 6-week training program leading into spring practice. Spring practice, I don't got the exact dates in front of me, but we're still thinking the first couple of weeks of March to bring start spring ball like we've done in the past. Couple of things did take place over the last couple of weeks. Definitely want to say really excited for Ham, Nashawn, Jamar, Isaiah Dunn as they go pursue their dreams in at the National Football League. Those guys were great for our program, each of them in different ways, but really were great contributors on and off the field. Just proud of what they were able to accomplish, represented us in a first-class manner. And so we wish them the best of luck, and we'll be here to support them as they go after those dreams of playing at that level. Just a couple of points, being able now to reflect on the season a little bit. I will tell you, we're taking this month of January to heavily dive into watching our tape, self-scouting ourselves, ways we can improve. But just a couple of things that stood out to me. I think offensively, the game starts up front, and I thought our offensive line, tight ends included, really did some really good things over those 7 games, establishing the line of scrimmage a lot of the time. I think we took a huge step. And a lot of that goes to these players that I'm excited about being able to work with again. You think about the entire offensive line coming back next year with Luke and Tegan at tight end coming back next year. Some high expectations for that. Defensively, you look at it, it's almost like after the first game, I think we lost 38. I think we gave 38 points. And then we went on a 5-game stretch of really, you look at the point totals of giving us the opportunity to win the game. A couple of those wins created some turnovers and got wins. A couple of games under 30 points in this league gives you an opportunity to be around it. I think we've took some steps in some run defense at times. Definitely want to have some more turnovers created defensively and on special teams, but there were some steps taken. But I'm excited about, again, the group that's going to be coming back on that side of the ball with, I think it's 2 of the better inside backers in the country, let alone in this league, with Avery and Omar coming back to head that defense up. And it does run defense, starts with your inside backers. And so I think we got some really positive things to be looking forward to. At the same time, we got some things that we want to do better. And each year you always want to be taking steps and doing things better. And so we're going to be really diving into the tape in January as coaches to find that and then implement it come spring ball. Recruiting's going well. Can't give you a bunch of updates right now until officially when we're legally able to announce things, but recruiting is going really well. Still very excited about what we were able to get done in the middle of December on the first signing date. A few of those guys have arrived on campus. So Sam Vidlak is here, quarterback. Omarian is here, defensive lineman. Samisi, who is actually a Mormon mission from a couple of years ago, is on campus and looks really, really good. Arnez Madison will be here next week. So we've got some guys, and more will be coming. And when we can announce that, we will definitely do that and get that information to you. I feel like at this point, you guys, fire away on a question or two. I'm staring at Zach Lassiter's name. He probably's got a bunch of questions for me, but.
I have one, and you probably maybe can't talk about him since you didn't, but I saw he's in the directory. Micaiah Tung, is he on campus yet?
Well, I can't. He is not on campus yet, but I can't really talk about him yet.
Okay.
Hey, Jonathan, I wanted to ask about just you guys recruiting out of the transfer portal. You guys have obviously gotten a lot of really big contributors via the transfer portal the last couple of years. What do you think makes your staff so successful at adding transfers?
Well, I think, again, we've got a formula of the type of player that we're looking for that fits our place. I do think when you look into the transfer portal, you're oftentimes a little bit older player, maybe more experienced, more maybe ready to immediately contribute. And so I think it's going to be another avenue to build your roster, let alone recruit high school athletes, junior colleges, development on your own roster, walk-ons especially, to contribute to what takes place on the field. And now the transfer portal over the last couple of years. I look at some of the transfers we have taken. Majority of them have been multi-year players, which we continue to want to be able to develop. I think more time spent with this coaching staff, guys continue to get better. And so the more time we have with them, I feel even they'll become more better and better players each year. So not every transfer, but a lot of them have been multi-year players, and that's not gonna change.
Is that something that, I mean, when you took over at Oregon State, that you planned on doing, or is it just something that's worked out along the way that you guys figured out that?
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't specific to the transfer portal. I think when we got here a couple of years ago, we took the approach that we were going to build this from the ground up, knowing that we wanted to do it the right way, spend some time. And so you look at that first recruiting class when we first got here, a majority of that class was high school athletes. And then the second year, as we got to know the roster better aware of immediate needs, we did then dabble into getting older players, whether it's transfer or junior college. And again, knowing the roster you got better and better each year, you can find a little bit of immediate need in the portal, and we'll continue to do that.
How much of it comes down to some of the players recruiting guys that they were maybe friends with growing up? Does that play a factor at all?
Yeah, I think that's a factor, not just in the portal. I think in general, like some of these guys have been in high schools or areas or come from the same cities, that those relationships count from your current roster. And so, yeah, I think it's part of it.
I know you don't have a lot of room, but do you have like a set amount of positions, or what positions are you actually looking to finish this up with?
Right. I go back to the line of scrimmage, O-line, potentially D-line. You could see we're pursuing that. Again, we're always pursuing specific. We want good players. We're not going to turn those guys down. I could see us maybe in the next month or further, a secondary player, and potentially a running back. Those stand out to me.
How are you feeling about your running back group at this point? Obviously, Jamar, like you said, has a really good chance to go pro now, and you guys have kind of a lot of different options back there now. Just how are you feeling about that group overall?
Yeah, I think we got some talent in that room. Obviously, a little bit less experience because Jamar did carry quite a bit the ball, and so there's only one ball to give those guys to. But I think BJ Baylor, again, I've said it a lot, has got some real talent, and we feel good about him. Unfortunate, you think about the Utah game where he was going to get the opportunity to go and takes the injury early in that game to not to be able to give us a ton of carries, but we feel good about him and coming back. Calvin did get some experience in a couple of games. He's a talented player that can carry it. We got some good young backs too. Isaiah Newell, who you didn't see much of this year as a freshman. We think he's got a really bright future and can be a good player. I think Trey Lowe is going to have opportunities to contribute and earn some time because he's got talent. And what I like about the room too, it's not like they're all cookie cutter the same. These guys got a little bit different skill set to each of them. And so to wrap all of that up, I think we've got some talent that just doesn't have a ton of experience, but we feel good about it.
How is the injury situation looking? Guys like Addison, Avery, those two, David Morris come to mind. How are you feeling about those guys heading into spring?
Right. I feel good in regards to being able to go for spring practice. Again, Avery, it's tough to tell a couple months out, but there's a chance he might be some type of limited fashion, but I do think he'll be able to get some spring ball going if everything goes fine and well with rehab. Addison, same way. We feel like Addison hopefully will be even healthier sooner than that. Same with David Morris. Don't see that being a long-term injury. I think the one that's currently doubtful for sure is Tristan. But we'll kind of see how the recovery goes in regards to that post-surgery. But I would call it doubtful for him to be able to go first week of March.
how about the opt-outs, the guys that opted out for the season? Have those guys come back, or when do you kind of get a determination on those guys?
Yeah, majority of them will be back. When I say that, I'm just thinking about some specifics. JoJo should be back again. Hit the ground running is everything that I have heard. I don't have the list right in front of me, but a good majority. And I'll have more updates when like I said, we're going to start our training January 19th.
I know a couple guys have announced on Twitter this week that they've left the program. Is there anybody else that isn't with you guys anymore?
Not that it hasn't announced, and really the majority of those, I feel great about their contributions to this program. Some of them have graduated already. Isaac Garcia being an example, a guy who's going to graduate this term, wants an opportunity to get a fresh start, opportunity to play more. He's been great for our culture around here. You talk about one of the best kids, great story from Bellevue and things, and done it first class.
When you guys do get up and go into this 6-week training program, is it going to be the same testing routine every day? Has anything changed?
Oh yeah, on the protocols and whatnot. Yeah, there'll still be testing. I don't know the exact details on that yet. If it's going to be any different than what the season was, I imagine it might be because of we're not truly practicing and tackling each other and creating high contact. I know that if it's the similar setup that we had in the summer, that'll work great because it was an operation that we felt really confident in, and these guys were really healthy and got a lot of work done in the weight room.
I know we're rolling into almost a year in this pandemic now, and it's kind of become normal. But is there anything that feels like this offseason is going to be a little bit harder because of the pandemic that maybe hasn't been the case in past off seasons?
Right. I think it's tough to know. I know that I'm excited about every time of the year in this job, but it's always an exciting time for growth and development of the players, diving into recruiting and self-scouting what you've done on the football end of it. So I'm looking forward to it. And obviously the pandemic, and I think all of us are hoping that is on its way out sooner than later.
Jonathan, are there any rule changes you'd like to see for 2021 or any tweaks to any of the rules?
Nothing that stands out. Are you talking about football specific rules, like about the game?
Yeah, and I mean, the one that gets talked about the most is targeting.
Mm-hmm. I think the targeting is an important rule. I don't think it's easy to officiate, but I do think the review process is important because I think it's made the game safer. I mean, I look at this game, it's way safer than it was 20 years ago. And there's been a lot of reasons for that in regards to coaching, equipment, but also the targeting rule itself. And so I think it's important that we always try to keep this game as safe as possible. And one way is to have a targeting rule.
Going back to your running backs, Jamar's been here and been doing really important things for you guys for so long. How weird is it just to go into an offseason knowing that you don't have him around here anymore?
Yeah, it's college football. You're always going to be replacing some really good players each year. Your roster is turning over each year with graduates and guys going on. So yeah, we'll miss him. I loved being around him, not just when I watched him carry the ball, like on the day-to-day. But again, excited about this group we got still in the running back room.
How about your coaching staff? Off seasons when guys start getting poached, are you feeling good about keeping your group together?
Currently, I do think that we've got a great staff. I think that these guys will see opportunities elsewhere, and it's well deserved. And it's happened each year where they've had conversations. But currently, feel great where everyone's at. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
You too.